Okay, let's be real. You've heard the names. Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, they're absolutely everywhere right now. These new weight loss drugs are making huge waves, and for some pretty compelling reasons.
But what's the real story here, beyond all the headlines and the hype? How do they actually work? Are they safe? And what's the stuff you really, truly need to know before even considering them? Well, in the next few minutes, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to break down the science, look at the real results from the studies, and cover the crucial things you have to understand. Let's dive in.
So, first things first, what exactly are these medications? It's kind of a wild story, actually. This whole thing started with drugs developed to treat type 2 diabetes. But then, researchers noticed a very powerful side effect, major weight loss. And that just opened up a whole new world.
Now, you might hear a bunch of different names thrown around, but when we're talking about what the FDA has officially greenlit, specifically for weight loss, we're looking at three main players. You've got Wegovy, Saxenda, and the newest one on the scene, Zepbound.
Okay, so here's where things get really fascinating. How in the world do these injections cause people to lose weight? Well, it's not magic. It's all about hijacking a system that's already built right into your own body.
It all comes down to something called incretin hormones. The easiest way to think of them is as natural messengers that your body sends out after you eat. The most famous one is GLP-1, and what these drugs do, essentially, is mimic that hormone perfectly.
And it's like a multi-step attack plan. First, these hormones tell your pancreas to release insulin to deal with the sugar from your meal. At the same time, they hit the brakes on your digestion, slowing down how fast your stomach empties. Then, they send a really powerful signal straight to your brain that says, hey, we're full down here. The end result of all that? Your appetite shrinks, and those nagging food cravings start to get a whole lot quieter. So, here's a great analogy for it. These medications basically find your body's natural I'm full signal, and they just crank the volume knob all the way up to 11. It's a supercharged version of what your body is already designed to do.
All right, so we've got the science down. Now let's meet the main players themselves, because as you're about to see, they are definitely not all created equal.
This chart really lays it all out. You can see Wegovy and Zepbound are just once-a-week shots. Saxenda, on the other hand, is a daily injection. But the part that really makes you look twice is the results. In clinical trials, Wegovy users lost an average of about 33 pounds. For Saxenda, it was about 18 pounds. And then there's Zepbound, which showed a mind-blown 15 to 21% drop in total body weight. That is a huge leap forward. And to really see that difference in action, a 2022 study put Wegovy and Saxenda in a direct head-to-head competition. The results were stark. People taking Wegovy lost about 16% of their body weight on average. Compare that to just 6% for those on Saxenda. Okay, the numbers are impressive for sure, but what does it actually feel like to be on these medications? Let's get into the real-world experience, the huge benefits, and the very real side effects that can come along for the ride.
So let's just state the obvious first. The biggest benefit is that for many, many people, these drugs just work. They are an incredibly powerful tool for achieving significant weight loss, especially when other methods haven't been successful.
But that effectiveness can definitely come at a cost. The most common side effects are gastrointestinal. We're talking about things like nausea, stomach pain, diarrhea, or constipation. They're pretty frequent, especially when you first start taking the medication or when your dose goes up.
And this is so important. While a lot of the side effects are just unpleasant, there are some serious red flags that everyone needs to know about. Things like severe, unrelenting stomach pain. That could be a sign of pancreatitis or other issues that might point to gallbladder problems. These are not wait-and-see symptoms. They require immediate medical attention.
Okay, so this brings us to our final and maybe most important section. If you're even thinking about these drugs, what are the practical, real-world realities you have to face?
First up, the elephant in the room, the cost. And you might want to brace yourself. For Wegovy, if your insurance doesn't cover it, you're looking at a staggering $1,350 for a single month supply.
And what about Saxenda? Yeah, you guessed it, it's right there in the same ballpark, $1,350. Again, that's every single month.
The newest drug, Zepbound, is a little less expensive, but we're still talking over $1,000 a month. This isn't just a prescription, it's a massive financial commitment, and for a lot of people, it's the biggest barrier of all. And you can't just ask your doctor for a prescription. You have to meet very specific medical criteria. Generally, that means having a BMI of 30 or higher, which is classified as obesity,
or a BMI of 27 or higher if you also have a related health issue like high blood pressure or type 2 diabetes.
This might be the single most important thing to understand. This is not a cure, it's a long-term treatment. As this quote makes crystal clear, if you stop taking the medication, the biological effects stop and the weight will very, very likely come back. So all of this leaves us with a huge question for the future. We now have this powerful new tool, but it's not a simple one. It's going to force us all to think about what it means to manage a chronic condition. And it's undoubtedly going to reshape not just medicine, but our entire culture around health, food, and our own bodies.